And I don't say should not stay in a sexless marriage lightly, because because I think I think leaving a sexless marriage should be the last resort. And there's a lot of resorts before that, you know. There's a lot of choices to be made before that about what you're doing as a man to take care of yourself and to better lead your life, because it's all about how you lead your life so that you can lead your family. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Dennis, the Married Man's Coach, and I'm here talking to you today about why a man would stay or should stay in a sexless marriage. If you're a man and you're married and you want more of all the good things out of your marriage and less of all the bad stuff, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Now, my answer to those are two different questions. Why should a man stay in a sexless marriage? And my answer is unequivocally, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. Whether or not he does is a different question, but he shouldn't. Now, whenever you should or shouldn't do something, it's like there's some sort of moral authority pushing down on you. And I know a lot of people watch my channels are Christian, as am I. But I think there's a biblical case to be made about why, splitting with your wife is okay in certain circumstances. And a sexless marriage is one of them, in my opinion. So why would I say a man shouldn't? Because, well, one, if it's a sexless marriage, so what is a sexless marriage? There's a few different ways to talk about it, but I think the accepted definition is having sex less than 10 times or less per year. So that's just over 1 month, maybe every 5 weeks or something. And that's considered a sexless marriage. In my opinion, no, a man should not stay in a sexless marriage. Should not. And should not because, man, you're only going to live once. Like, you didn't sign up for that. Like, you deserve better. You deserve to have a healthy sex life with your wife. I mean, that's just something that you deserve as a man. It doesn't give you the right to take it in any sort of forceful way. And so if your wife is going to show up and commit to not doing that, not engaging with you in that way, then in my opinion, it's not even a marriage. In my opinion, sex is the one thing. I mean, maybe one of the things, but I can't think of another thing. It is the one thing that separates marriage from any other kind of relationship that you have, from a roommate relationship, from a co-parenting relationship, from friends, co-workers, whatever. It's the sexual intimacy with your wife is what separates marriage from everything else. Now, if you think there's something else, then please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think that is. But and so that's something that you deserve as a man, and it's something that your wife agreed to. I mean, it's never in the. I mean, it's not explicit, but it's in the fine print that marriage is a sexual relationship, and when you get married to somebody, you're essentially consenting to engage in that with that person in a sexual relationship. And yes, of course, a woman has the right, as does the man, to sort of revoke that consent, of course. But that also means that the terms of the marriage are different, and that means the man might want to go elsewhere, which is totally reasonable. It's totally reasonable. Now, what's not reasonable in this day and age in a lot of states in America, the court system is not in favor of the man, so it could be quite costly and quite bad for the man if he goes through it. It's not an easy situation to be in. And so that's why a man should not, in my opinion, a man should not stay in a sexless marriage. Now, again, that doesn't mean that every sexless man in a sexless marriage gets out of it. No, there's plenty of men who stay in a sexless marriage, and I have no judgment against those people. I'm not pretending that I know how to make decisions for other people's lives. And so I can understand that some men decide to stay because the kids, they want to be near their kids. I think that's a totally reasonable decision. Unfortunately, I'm not in that situation to have to make that decision because I don't know what I would do. But That's a totally reasonable situation, and maybe a man doesn't want to lose his house or you know, become poor from going through a divorce. And I think there's a certain stat, or like a certain amount of people, a certain high percentage of people, either the man or the woman ends up poor after a divorce. So maybe that's a good reason to. I don't know. Again, I don't have a place to say what is or isn't, what should or shouldn't be for every person. I'm telling you my opinion about the way I see things. But also, kind of taking this attitude that you deserve a healthy sexual relationship with your wife, that's part of the fine print of a marriage agreement, is a healthy way. I mean, it empowers you. It empowers you not to force, not to coerce, not to do any of that, but it empowers you because you suddenly have the moral high ground. And I haven't heard a good argument about why a woman chooses not to stay in a sexless marriage, to be sexless. I haven't heard a good argument for it. Maybe there's one out there. I just haven't heard it. But it empowers you because, in my opinion, you've got the moral high ground. If you're showing up in the marriage and meeting all your responsibilities, all your everything that you can do and what you're entitled to do to be a married man, but she's not, then in my opinion, you got the moral high ground. That's empowering. That gives you more power to make stronger decisions, to become a better leader of the family, which ironically is oftentimes the thing that can help end a sexless marriage. And I don't say should not stay in a sexless marriage lightly, because I think leaving a sexless marriage should be the last resort. And there's a lot of resorts before that, There's a lot of choices to be made before that about what you're doing as a man to take care of yourself and to better lead your life, because it's all about how you lead your life so that you can lead your family. And then you get that right, and a lot of the problems go away. But leading is not easy. And it's not easy, and it's not, for a lot of people, myself included, it's not second nature. It's not intuitive. I don't think I was a born leader. I think I've learned to be a better leader in my life and somewhat of my family. I've got progress to make. Always, always, always. As I say, you're not done till you're dead. Right, and you can see, you can look around in the world and you can see this lack of leadership in the world. You can see parents. I notice it most in parents, because I find a lot of parents finding it very difficult to lead their kids, and particularly in being able to say no to them. Because part of leadership is leading your own life, is being able to say, this is my limit and you cannot pass it. That's kind of like a fundamental unit of leadership of yourself, is I'm not okay with this, and you got to stop. And then keeping on that until the behavior stops. And you can see this with kids all the time. I see so many times parents, dads and moms, kind of fold under the pressure of their kids. And part of it's, you're at the park and you're seeing kids and nobody wants to make a scene in the park, whatever. I make a scene at the park. I do. I made a couple scenes at the park, yeah, because my kids needed to stop doing something or needed to start doing something, and I wasn't going to give in just because people are watching. Take leadership of your life. I got videos on this all over my channel. And yeah, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Ciao, ciao.